In 2002, a young woman named Jessica and her college friends set out on a weekend adventure in rural Ohio. Their destination was a small, quiet town, famous not for its beauty, but for its eerie legends. One such tale revolved around an abandoned house on the outskirts of the town, a decrepit, ominous structure that had been the subject of chilling stories for decades. Locals whispered about the house, claiming it was cursed. In the early 1970s, a family of 4 had vanished without a trace. Investigators found bloodstains and strange symbols carved into the walls, but no bodies were ever recovered. Over time, the house fell into disrepair, becoming a place teenagers dared each other to enter but rarely stayed long. Jessica and her friends, intrigued by the stories, decided to see the house for themselves. Armed with flashlights and bravado, they arrived just after sunset. The house loomed in the distance, its silhouette jagged against the darkening sky. As they approached, the air grew colder, and the night fell eerily silent. The front door creaked open with an unsettling groan. Inside, the air was thick and musty. Cobwebs hung like curtains, and the faint smell of something metallic lingered. Jessica noticed strange markings on the walls, symbols she couldn't decipher, scratched deep into the wood. As the group moved further into the house, an inexplicable tension settled over them. They reached the staircase, its wooden steps warped and brittle. Suddenly, Jessica froze. She had heard it, faint footsteps above them. Her friends dismissed it as an animal or the wind, but the sound grew louder, deliberate, and rhythmic. "Someone's up there," one of them whispered, his voice trembling. Despite their fear, curiosity drove them upstairs. The second floor was even darker, the walls lined with broken picture frames and furniture cloaked in dust. At the end of the hallway stood a door, slightly ajar. A dim light flickered from within. Jessica's heart pounded as they approached. She pushed the door open, and a wave of icy air swept past them. Inside, the room was barren except for a single chair in the center. On the walls were more of the strange symbols, but these were painted in what looked like dried blood. As the group stared, the door behind them slammed shut. Their flashlights flickered, and an ear-piercing scream erupted from nowhere, sending them into a panic. "Run!" someone shouted. They bolted for the stairs, but as they reached the bottom, they saw it. A shadowy figure standing in the doorway, its face obscured but its presence suffocating. The figure raised a hand, and the front door slammed shut, trapping them inside. Jessica felt a searing pain in her arm. She looked down and saw a handprint, dark, burned into her skin. The figure began to move toward them, its footsteps echoing unnaturally loud in the confined space. The group scattered, searching for another exit. Jessica found a window, smashed it with a chair, and they clambered out into the night. Breathless and shaken, they reached their car, only to find its windows fogged over. Written in the condensation, in a childlike scrawl, were the words, "You should not have come." The friends sped away, leaving the cursed house behind. Days later, Jessica discovered bruises shaped like fingers forming around the burn mark on her arm. They never faded completely. Determined to uncover the truth, she researched the house and learned the horrifying history. The family that had disappeared had been victims of their deranged father, who had sacrificed them in a ritual before taking his own life. Since then, every person who had spent time in the house reported hauntings, strange injuries, or worse. Jessica never returned to the house, but the memories haunted her. Years later, she discovered one final chilling detail. The symbols on the walls matched those found at crime scenes across the country, all linked to unsolved disappearances. The house wasn't just haunted, it was a gateway to something far darker, something still waiting within its walls.